Opportunity is supreme, finding the entry point of your life.
Part 9 Anandi's anxiety and our common ailment. Hello everyone and welcome to today's sharing. In the 5th volume of the Shurangama Sutra, after listening to the Buddha's previous teachings, Ananda and the assembly reached a state of profound realization. Their minds became as clear as a polished mirror, filled with an indescribable sense of comfort. They knelt before the Buddha and said, "World-honored one, our bodies and minds are now translucent and bright, filled with a joy that is swift and unobstructed. This swiftness refers to a sense of pure refreshment, a transparent, barrier-free bliss." However, immediately following this, Ananda spoke a profound truth. He said, "World-honored one, although I now understand the principle of 6 senses dissolving into one, and I grasp the mechanics of liberation, I still haven't found the specific starting point for my actual practice." Ananda described himself as a nursling, a child not yet weaned who had been wandering in the wilderness for eons and suddenly encountered his merciful mother. He said, "Even though I know my mother can save me, I am still like a person who cannot take off their glasses. I understand the logic, but when facing afflictions and the weight of my past karma, I still feel powerless." He pleaded with the Buddha, "World-honored one, please tell us at which point should we break through to achieve true realization?" Part E, I know Dharma's superior resonance is key. In response to Anandi's request, the Buddha didn't just give another lecture. Instead, he did something fascinating. He invited the vanguards, those who had already achieved enlightenment, to share their personal experiences. The Buddha looked upon the assembly and asked the bodhisattvas and arhats who had attained the stage of no learning, "When you first set your mind on the path, which of the 18 realms, 6 senses, 6 objects, 6 consciousnesses did you awaken through? What skillful means did you use to enter samadhi?" Before we dive into their stories, we must establish a crucial understanding: all dharmas are equal. Many people read the Shurangama Sutra and, upon seeing Manjusri Bodhisattva select deer root as the best method later on, assume that only deer root works and everything else is inferior. This is a massive misconception. The Buddha invited 25 sages to share their stories, covering every possible sensory and mental faculty. If those methods weren't effective, how could these sages have attained perfect enlightenment? Deer root suited Ananda because he had spent eons listening to the Buddha's teachings. His root merit was the thickest and most accessible for him. For the rest of us, every dharma is good. The key is whether it resonates with your unique nature. If it fits you, it is the supreme dharma. If it doesn't, even the best method won't help you.
Just like the medicine king Bodhisattva, who entered the path through the sense of taste that was his specific point of merit. So, please listen to the following without judgment. Any gateway can be your portal to Buddhahood, provided you can cultivate merit and compassion through it. Part 3, from sound to form, the transformation of senses. First to stand was Kondanya and the other 4 bhikshus. They were the first 5 disciples the Buddha ever taught. They said, "We witnessed the Buddha's initial enlightenment in the deer park, and we awakened by listening to the subtle voice of the Buddha proclaiming the 4 noble truths." Kondanya mentioned that the Buddha bestowed upon him the name Inyata, meaning understanding. He realized the perfection of self-nature within those beautiful, sacred sounds. Thus, he believed that the sense of sound is the swiftest shortcut. This is viralike samadhi through sound. Next was Upanishad. His method might seem a bit intense to modern people. He practiced the contemplation of impurity. He observed the forms of the world, from living bodies to corpses, to white bones, until finally, the bones turned to dust and the dust returned to the void. Through this extreme detachment, he suddenly realized the nature of form. He discovered that whether a form is ugly or illusory, its essence is empty. Once he saw through the dust of form, his translucent self-nature manifested. He told the Buddha, "For me, the sense of form was the best entry point." Part 4, fragrance and taste, practicing in daily life. The third to share was the youth fragrance adorned. His story is incredibly poetic. Following the Buddha's instructions, he was observing the arising and ceasing of conditioned things. One day, he saw bhikshus burning a loose wood incense. The silent fragrance drifted into his nostrils. He began to investigate the scent. It isn't the wood, it isn't the air, it isn't the smoke, and it isn't the fire. Where does it come from? Where does it go? He delved into this dead end of thought until all logic and mental processing simply stopped. This is called the fading of the intent. Because his mind had nowhere left to go, it became hollow and luminous. In that instant, his afflictions vanished. The Buddha named him fragrance adorned. He proved that even the scent of incense can be the most supreme entry point. Then, the two bodhisattvas, Medicine King and Medicine Superior, stood up for lifetimes. They had been master physicians, tasting 108,000 kinds of herbs and minerals. They knew every nuance of taste, bitter, sour, salty, bland, sweet, and pungent, as well as the hot or cold toxicity of every substance. How did they awaken? While tasting, they researched the nature of taste. They found that taste is neither empty nor existing. It is neither inside the body nor outside of it. They pushed their investigation until they found nothingness, a blank space.
Remaining in that blank space, their senses and the external world detached from one another. In the light of their self-nature appeared. They realized the thing that knows the taste is the true self-nature. Let us pause here. Why do we eat every day but never taste enlightenment? The difference lies in the point of merit. The Medicine King tasted herbs to save others and alleviate suffering. He accumulated massive compassion through the sense of taste. We eat to satisfy greed, craving what we like and resenting what we don't. We are depleting our merit, while they were building it. This is why the same sensory point leads them to liberation and us to reincarnation. Part V, touch-based enlightenment in the bath. The last culprit quite found Bhadrapala and his 16 companions. Their place of enlightenment, the bathroom, during the time of the Buddha Awesome Sound King. They were waiting in line to bathe. The moment the water hit his body, Bhadrapala suddenly realized this water neither washes the dirt nor the body. You might wonder, how can water not wash away dirt? He was observing the fundamental nature of matter. The four elements earth, water, fire, and wind may seem mixed, but at a microscopic, essential level, they remain distinct. More importantly, he felt the sensation of touch. He felt the cool water, but he realized that while the sensation rises and ceases, the awareness that feels the touch never rises, never ceases, and never comes or goes. In that state of stillness, he achieved the realization of having nothing. He discovered his true mind through the subtle touch. For him, the sensation of bathing was the perfect entry point. Part VI summary. Where is your entry point? Do you see a pattern in these stories? Whether it is sound, form, fragrance, taste, or touch, they all share one thing if you fix your gaze upon it and investigate deeply to the very end of thought. What lies behind it is your self-nature. Why did the Buddha have 25 sages share their individual stories? It was to shatter our dharma attachment. He wanted us to realize that whichever point resonates with you is the best point. Many people today practice blindly. They hear the ear root is best, so they try it, only to end up frustrated. Where they hear sitting meditation is the way, so they force themselves into it. These sages tell us do not despise any method, whether it's bathing, eating, smelling fragrance, or listening to sounds. If you stop drifting with the current and turn back to find the one who perceives, every single place is a gateway to liberation. As the Master instructed, never harbor even a trace of contempt or rejection toward any Dharma. To despise a Dharma is to close the door to your own Buddhahood. Thank you to the Buddha Practice Association of Australia for sharing the profound Shurangama Dharma. Thank you all for listening. May you find that translucent, bright, and unobstructed point of realization in your own ordinary lives.